Hi there everyone, welcome in. I am Julie with Photofabpaperflowers and we will get started shortly. Hi there. Welcome in everyone. Happy Tuesday. Hey Vanessa, how are you? Hanging in there, my friend? Welcome in everybody. I hope you're having a great day. Hi Christy, welcome in. Hello. Hi Bally. Oh Vanessa, I know you're always tired, but you girl, you work hard. I'm hanging in there myself, my friend. I'm ready for some time off of work. Hope I make it till next Thursday. If I spontaneously go to Florida, Vanessa, I'll let you know. Because I really just want to run away and hide. Welcome in everybody. I am Julie with Photofabpaperflowers and we are using template 7 mini flower tonight. Going back to an older one, an OG, but she's super pretty and she's got a lot of texture. Yeah, I'm not sure, Vanessa, if I'm going to stay local or head out. It'll be spontaneous. All right, so template 7 mini flower. We're keeping it simple, but we have a little bit of, she has different petal shapes to her, and she's super pretty. Hey, look who we have on here. Forever Petals by V, my friend. How are you? Thanks so much for joining. So we're making a 6-inch flower and we are going to stem her tonight. So I get this thicker stem wire from Leah Griffith's shop online. It comes in a pack of 50. So if you don't want to invest in these, you can always you just double up all your wires, or triple, so it has a lot more stability, because our flower head is 6 inches wide. So again, we're just going to be using the petals and the rolled center that come with template 7 mini flower. Okay, so let me tuck that under there a little. I'll try not to keep putting my hand there. So for our sepals, again, we're going to just use the petal shape as our sepal. Okay, so you're going to cut one at 5 inches wide and the height automatically adjusts. So type in the width, the height automatically adjusts. Again, we're just using the petal as our sepal. And then you're going to cut a second one at 4.5 inches wide. So we have 2 for our sepals. Our center is the rolled center that comes with the template. And you need 1 at 10 inches wide by 1 inch high. So you will need to unlock the image in your machine's design space, type in the width and the height, and then lock it back up, and you'll have your center size. For our petals, again, we're using the petal as a sepal, and we're using the petal as our main flower. So again, if we don't have a sepal, it doesn't come with a sepal, then you just improvise and you can use another one from another template, or we're using actually just that petal as our sepal cut in green. So So you're going to cut 3 at 5.5 inches wide, 1 at 5.25 inches wide, 1 at 5 inches wide, 1 at 4.75 inches wide. Again, type in the width, the height automatically adjusts. 1 at 4.5, 1 at 4.25, and 2 at 4 inches wide. And I like a really full flower, so my flowers don't open up a lot from the weather, the humidity, especially here in PA. And my southern friends, you get that humidity where sometimes they'll start to open up over time. Okay, so I will give you a moment to snap a shot, take a snippet or a snapshot with your phone or computer, and then we will go ahead and get started. So our tools that we need, again, we're using a thicker gauge wire. I do purchase this from Leah Griffith. We're going to be using our metal ball stylus, our slotted quilling tool. We're going to be using an embossing stylus, so this is from Dollar Tree. Our bone folder, our color-coded dowel rods. I'm going to use an X-acto knife because I'm using the larger floral stems. Needle nose pliers, precision scissors, and some optional ink. So I tried to keep this super duper easy, quick. Don't think about it too much. Sorry if I'm missing comments. So we're super excited V is here with us. So be sure to say hi to V. Hey Renee, welcome in. Hola Tina. Welcome in everybody. Thanks so much for hanging out. It is Tuesday, June 6th. Or I'm sorry, it's not the 6th, it's the 10th. Oh my gosh, where did I get that from? I think I was looking at my other sheet. June 10th. We're not going back in time. So June 10th, 2025, template 7 mini flower. Oh my god, that's so funny. Hi Arnaz. So I do need to look at your comments through my phone, which is also what I'm projecting from. So hang in there with me if I miss anything. And me's on here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started again here. Give you a quick second to take a snapshot if you like. Hi Lorena, welcome in. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm just going to put this off to the side so I can see my directions. All right, for our sepals. Again, we're just using the petal of template 7 mini flower. We're keeping it super simple. So we are going to do some inking to make them a little bit more realistic. So the first thing I'm going to do, and the color paper I'm using, so I'm using 2 packs of paper from Printworks. So thank you Printworks for gifting me the paper. So I'm using the green from the floral cardstock. Super pretty paper pack, and it's 65-pound cardstock. So this is a nice green. The second pack I'm using, and ooh, it's so pretty for summer, is their tropical cardstock. And we are using the cherry and the coral. So the coral is my center and the cherry. I just didn't want to use a really bright green for my leaves. So here you can see the other paper pack where I took the green out of, and that was the floral. So super duper pretty colors. So I'm just adding a little bit of color because, as we know, I cannot not ink. I really tried because I'm going to be using these in my fun planners that I made over the weekend. So I'm just going to brush on some green. So if you didn't catch my stories when I was hanging out at my friend's house on Saturday, We made the fun planters with the faces on them. It was a good girls' day hanging out. So again, I'm just adding a little bit of color. I like some color variation with my leaves. So not necessarily do you need to do this step. It's hard for me not to. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Woo, we are live here at Photofabpaperflowers in Pennsylvania. It had been a scorcher. It's been horrible weather here on and off. So I hope you're all having some better weather and being safe, healthy, fun, creative. So again, I'm just adding a little bit of ink here. Oh, hi! Thank you for watching, and I love that you love watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for all your likes, shares, comments. I truly do appreciate it. Hope you had a fun and fabulous weekend, and it's Tuesday already. So I'm just adding a little bit of ink for some color variation because why not? Then we're going to bring in our flower shaping mat, which is our other tool that I forgot to mention. So again, I'm using the petals as our sepals, so we're going to improvise using our Embossing Stylus, which is available from your local Dollar Tree. We're using the wider end. Ah, they were so cute. Thank you so much. Hey Sharon, welcome in. So we're going to draw a line down the center, and then towards that center line you're going to come in at an angle like a V shape to add that veining to your leaves. So if you flip it over, then you can see. Okay, straight down the center. And then at an angle, you come down the one side, and then I come down the opposite side. So it creates that V shape. Down the center, I go down the one side at an angle, and then we come down the opposite. So that's the pattern, basically, that I follow. So for each leaf, you're going to do that same exact technique of embossing our veining, so giving our leaves some texture. So what I'm telling you to do, if you didn't want to do these extra steps, you certainly don't have to. It's just what I like for my leaves. And I think my girl will like in my planner that I made. So we went a little bit larger today just because my planner has a wider opening and I feel like she needs a big flower. So again, we're still just doing that line down the center and adding the veining. Anybody in the craft room this evening? Or are you just hanging out and watching as your day, maybe your work day is ending, or maybe it's just beginning? Or good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending when you're watching the replay, live or replay. So at the end, I will show you my planners and give you a little bit of hints on or some tips on making them from what we experience. All right, so now we added our veining. So I'm going to go over it with a little bit of walnut stain, which I like to do, or ground espresso. Either of them will work for you. And again, I just want to bring out a little bit of the veining to highlight it a little bit more. It's about layering with the distressed oxides, and I keep using these finger dabbers, so I just keep them all stacked to the side of me. And especially on the back now, you'll start to see some of that veining a little bit more. Texture, friends, texture. Hey Jeanette, how are you? So thank you all for joining. Happy Tuesday. We're using Template 7 Mini Flower. We're going OG tonight. And we're going to brush some on. I know, the stretch girl, stretch. That's my biggest thing, and I need to take my own advice because of my shoulders, is stretch it out, friends. That's my chiropractor's advice too. Did I follow it? Not so much. We're going to bring back our flower shaping mat, and I like to go over my veining again with a metal ball stylus. So again, we're going down the center and I'm just going over those lines. So it's going to shape it a little bit more. I always do it twice for the most parts. Okay. So there you're getting a lot more texture. So again, making mini flowers is about the layering. And mini flowers means all the petals, and Julie's world here at Photofabpaperflowers means all the petals are connected in the center. So I'm just following my same technique down the center, going up the one side and coming down the other. And I apologize, I can't see the comments. I only can look at them on my phone as we're going. So thank you, V, for answering the questions. I appreciate it. It's like we're at flower camp. All right, now lastly, we're going to add a little bit of purple. I love, and my favorite purple to use is Seedless Preserves. So if you do make succulents with the mini flowers, and we have here, is when I found that I love the combination of the brown and the purples and the greens. And you just generally just brush it on wherever you feel you want a little bit of color. And it's not in the entire leaf, it's just randomly on each of them. Maybe it's just on the corners. So it's just giving it some, again, more tonal, more realism to the leaves. And I do the same thing on the back. No rhyme or reason where I do it. And you can see it highlights again the veining. Thanks everyone for joining. Happy Tuesday! I'm so glad we're here. I needed all of you, and hopefully you needed me today. I needed some good quality time with all of you. Good for our souls, right? To be in the craft room creating and hanging out with fabulous friends. And we're just randomly adding the purple. Ooh, so pretty. So that's how you get the leaves to look like a succulent as well. But for our two sepals, which we're using our petals, for the larger one at 5 inches, we're going to pull in our color-coded dowel rod chart and the hand-colored dowel rods. This is our yellow 3/8. I do offer paper flower tools if you're newer to paper flowers in my Etsy shop. is linked in the description of this video. We have a section called Paper Flower Tools. You can purchase things separately or in different starter kits. Place the dowel rod down in the middle of the petal, thumb on top, index finger. So I'm right-handed, so this is my left. It holds the dowel rod in place. With your opposite hand, you bring it around the dowel rod. Once you have it securely tight, pinch and roll it between your fingers. And I pinch very hard, so my index finger turns a little red when I do it. So place it down the middle of the petal, pinch it up with your thumb, and roll it between your fingers. Once you get the hang of it, I generally don't even have to look. That comes with time, I promise. The 4.5 inch wide petal, we're using our 5/16 red dowel rod. Place it down in the middle of the petal, pinch it up with your thumb, and roll. Pinch it up and roll. So again, Template 7 Mini Flower has 3 different shaped petals on here. Pinch it up and roll. Happy Tuesday, friends! Lastly, for our sepals, we are going to flip them over. We probably should have done it beforehand. Using an X-acto knife, because I'm not using the piercing scoring tool, because my wire is thicker. I'm not using 18 gauge. This is from Leah Griffith's shop. We're gonna make an X in the center, and that's to get our sepal through. I don't measure it, but you do need to make sure the petals are rolled under when you do cut your X, because we're gonna insert the stem like that, so we want it to be able to fold in on it. So again, go right to the center and make an X. It's not exactly in the center, don't worry about it. Nothing is perfect. Yeah, sending lots of prayers to our friend Florence the Explorers and V and the family, and we're thinking of you always. Let's go ahead and style our center. So we have one center. You're going to unlock the image, and you're going to type in 10 inches wide for the width and 1 inch high. You're going to lock it again. We're going to add a little bit of color. So again, this is from Printworks. And the 2 colors I'm using here is cherry. I'm showing you like it's a reel. It's cherry and coral. And it's 65-pound cover. So I'm using the coral. Beautiful summer tropical vibe. So for our coral color, I'm adding a little bit of crackling campfire. And I'm just going to brush it on the tips, just going down. Again, I'm using the same finger dabber I've been using with this color for quite some time. Until it gets really chewed up with lots of little pieces, I continue to use it. Okay, we're going to flip it over and do exactly that exact same thing. Brush on some color. Hope well, we're not in summer technically yet, but a lot of kids are done school now, at least here in PA or in my area. So let the summer vacations begin, right? Now I'm going to add a little bit of walnut stain, and this is where your layering and preferences all come into play. It doesn't matter. I just like to add the brown. And whatever colors you're going to use is going to depend on your project. So this is going in my planter or my friend's planner that we made over the weekend with the funny faces. We're going to take our bone folder and I'm going to hold the straight edge. and you're going to curl it like it's lashes or a ribbon. You just pull to curl. So this is where I get, as Jeanette likes to call it, Cheeto fingers from the ink. Okay. So now it has like a wave to it. So with the curl or wave facing towards you, you're going to thread one end into your slotted quilling tool. That's the hardest part. I have my glasses on and I still struggle. So you can see sometimes I thread down here and I just move it. Okay, so with it threaded in one end, you're going to roll it towards you a few times. And then we're going to secure it with some glue. And we're going to continue rolling it towards you, but keeping that bottom right edge aligned the best you can. I added a full line of glue there to finish it up. Secure the end, and now I'm going to add a little bit more. So this is where you can play around depending what colors you like. I'm going to add a little bit of purple, and every time I do it is usually a little bit different. To get a lot of different variation. We'll add a little bit of brown. You only see the top. And then lastly, I did add a little black soot to my sample one. Makes me think of Halloween, right? I'm going to press it down to shape her a little bit. Remove it from your slotted quilling tool. And now we have our sepals ready. We have our center ready. Let's roll our petals. Okay. So we're going to flip them over starting with the three largest at 5.5 inches. So I'm going to take two of them at once. I think I have them lined up. Sometimes I get them out of order. Okay, we're going to take our 3/8 inch yellow dowel rod, placing it down on one of them. We're going to pinch up with our thumb and roll it between our fingers. Now these are much larger, so if you are newer, I do recommend only rolling one petal at a time. Okay, so pinch up and roll. So 2 out of 3 of the 5.5, you're rolling up. So pinch it up with your thumb and roll it between your fingers. And you can see I go back and forth a few times. So it is literally wrapped around my dowel rod. And I feel it in my shoulder then. Pinch up and roll. Okay, so we're gonna just start a pile here. With that third one, you're still gonna roll it up. So place it down the middle of the petal, pinch up with your thumb, and roll it between your fingers. So that you can see it's all the way around that dowel rod. Pinch up and roll it between your fingers. Thanks everyone for joining tonight. We're making it a little bit larger, is what we call a supersize. She's around 6 inches, roughly. She can be used on your wreaths, a little bit larger vases like I'm using her for. We're going to flip this one over and set it on our sepal pile. Okay, so now we're at layer 3. It's 5.25 inches wide. We're going to take our 5/16 red dowel rod, easily identifiable by the color. Place it down the middle of the petal, pinch it up with your thumb, and roll. Pinch it up with your thumb and roll. Hi Dory, how you doing? Pinch up and roll. Did you do the full move yet to PA? Pinch it up and roll. Or you're still moving from Jersey, moving some stuff. Okay, so layer 1 and 2 are up. We did do one of the larger, the third largest. We rolled it up and then flipped it under. Okay, layer 4 is our 5-inch wide petal. We're still going to use our red 5/16, and we're going to roll one petal up and one petal down. Choosing any one, it doesn't matter where you start. Place it down the middle of the petal, pinch it up with your thumb, and roll. Okay, skip a petal, pinch up, and roll. A little bit wider ones didn't want to roll. Skip, pinch up, and roll. Flip it all the way over so you can see now we have 3 petals we didn't roll. So now we're going to roll them up. Pinch it up and roll. Pinch and roll. Pinch and roll. Okay, so one petal's showing up and one petal showing under every other petal. Place it on your pile. Our 4.75 inch wide, we're going to still use our red 5/16 and do that exact same technique. Pinch it up with your thumb and roll. Skip a petal, pinch up and roll. Skip, pinch up and roll. Flip it all the way around, and now we're going to do exactly the exact same thing. Pinch it up and roll. Okay, so now you have one petal rolled up, one petal rolled under. Place it on your pile. Makes it easy when we go to assemble. We have one at 4.5 inches wide. We're going to switch to our green 1/4 inch dowel rod. And we're going to roll all of these petals up. So pinch it up with your thumb and roll. So you can see there's a large gap. And that just means we're going to have a much more pronounced curl to our petal. Pinch it up and roll. Pinch up, let go, and roll. So you can see it's much more curled. I want that in my center of my flower. Pinch up and roll. Okay. Layer 7 is 4.25 inches wide, and we're still going to use our 1/4 inch olive green dowel rod, and we're going to roll all these petals up. So starting with any one, again you can see we have a large gap. Pinch it up with your thumb and roll it between your fingers. Okay, thumb, index finger, hold it in place. Come around with your opposite hand, pinch it up with your thumb, let go, and roll it between your fingers. A little bit wider ones, you can just fold it around. They still work. Now we have 2 at 4 inches wide. So we're going to stack them. There we go. We're going to take our pair of precision scissors. I'm using mine to follow along. We're going to go in between any petal you're going to start, and you're going to make a slight little cut towards the center. And this allows our petals to fold, our center to get smaller, so that way it's more compact in the center of our flower. Hope that makes sense. I had bread at lunch, so my words may not all be here. Okay, so now we're going to take one, we're going to go to our blue, ooh, 3/16 coastal blue. So just take one, starting with any petal, it really doesn't matter. Now you can see again, we still have a large gap on either side, so our curl is going to be pretty pronounced again. pinch it up and roll it between your fingers. Okay, you're going to skip a petal, pinch it up and roll. Skip, pinch up and roll. Flip it all the way over. So like now they're rolled under. We're going to roll the other 3 petals up. Okay, pinch it up and roll. Pinch and roll. So we're going to set this one here. We're going to put our chart away because our last petal, we're going to use our blue 3/16. And we're going to roll all of these petals up. This is going to be our very center around our rolled center. Pinch it up and roll it between your fingers so you can see my curls pronounced. Pinch it up and roll. Pinch up and roll. Just remember, friends, our videos are here for 30 days now and they are automatically deleted. Our live videos, I am slowly going to be getting them onto YouTube, so stay tuned. And we're going to let that sit there. Okay. So I'm just going to put our dowel rods away. So we use the yellow, the 3/8, the red 5/16, olive green 1/4, and 3/16 is the blue. Put them back in our dowel rod case. And now we're going to assemble our girl. We do need one of the larger metal ball stylus because our center is quite large. We're going to bring in our flower shaping mat, which is a 1/4 inch soft foam mat. We're going to set her down here. We're going to flip our stack of petals over, so this is our center. Flip our stack over. Layer 1 and 2 are rolled up. It doesn't matter which one. Layer 1, we're not going to roll the center. Layer 2, we're going to go around where the petals meet the base. Okay, slightly lifts them up. On the back, you're going to add your hot glue. And we're going to bring them down in between the previous layer's petals. And I like to use the SureBonder mini glue gun. It does fold up, which comes in handy at the end when we're attaching our sepals. And I prefer the 8-inch Gorilla Glue sticks. Okay, layer 3 is our 5.25 inch. And this is also rolled up. Roll right around where the petals meet the base on your flower shaping mat. So it's lifting our petals. It's like magic. Add some hot glue. And we're going to keep rotating around. Bring our petals straight down in between. And I do like to stand. Yes, friends, I stand the whole time almost I'm making flowers. Except for like if I'm inking a bunch of them, I will sit. But when I stand, I need to be directly over top or pretty close, so I can try and get it in the center. If I go off center, you can just adjust your next layer. She'd be super pretty, add a fun little center, and you would be done. All right. Layer 4, we did one petal up, one petal down with our red 5/16. We're gonna roll right where the petals meet the base, going around in that circular motion. So you can see where I rolled was here. And one petal's up, one petal's under. So we're gonna add our glue. And for my petals, I did ink around the edges on both sides with walnut stain. So if you do see that, I did. We're going to look at our top petal, look at our previous layers, top petals, and bring it straight down in between and press. And you can use your metal ball stylus to make sure it's secure. I do love, this is Template 7 Mini Flowers. She's super fun. I have the large template flowers hanging above my bed. We're going to roll right around where the petals meet the base to lift them up. Ooh, magic. So these are also rolled one petal up, one petal down. So it's going to give it a different look from the side. We're going to look at our top two petals. We're going to look at a petal and bring it straight down in between and press. So again, these petal shapes are different, so it gives it a different appearance depending the way you're looking at it. Ooh, this is such a beautiful color. This is cherry. It's like a nice pinky color. I was looking to see if it's close to my nails. Layer 6 is our 4.5 inch. We're just going to roll right again where our petals meet the base to lift them up. So now our center is getting closed up, but we still have plenty of room for our 4 centers. Okay, add your glue, a nice generous amount. And I'm going to look at 2 petals. I'm just going to choose one and bring it straight down in between. And then use your metal ball stylus to make sure it secures. I love looking at them from the side. It's my favorite. And then we have one layer 7 at 4.25. We're going to roll right where the petals meet the base. And now I am going to hold one, place it in front of the other. Hey Nathan, welcome in. Thanks for hopping on. And we're glad you were hoping to be here. And we're going to look at the top 2 petals. We're going to choose any petal you want and look at it and bring it in between those 2. Straight down and press. Hold it and stir that center. We are so glad you're all here tonight. Or I'm happy you're all here tonight. I needed some of your love, so thank you for being here. Some days just don't go as we plan, right? Now we have 2 petals left in our center. So we're just going to set our flower aside. The one we cut in between each petal towards the center. These are our 4 inch wide. And then we rolled them all up, and then we rolled one petal up, one petal down. So we're going to roll directly in the center now because we cut in towards the center. So directly down with your metal ball stylus and stir. All right, we're going to add glue to our rolled center. Hey, Linda! And add some glue around the sides. So we wanted to attach or touch those sides. So add a nice generous amount. Place it directly in the center, as close as possible. Okay, now we're going to fold up, holding one petal, place it in front of the other. We're going to try not to move that center too much before it dries. So she's down in there. I'm just going to press it down with my metal ball stylus to make sure it attaches. Okay, so now you can see because we cut in between each petal, our center got much smaller. Add some glue, generous amounts. I'm going to look at one of my petals and we're just going to bring it straight down in between, and if I pull that petal back, it should fall in between those 2. Now because these are rolled one petal up and one petal under, I simply am just going to gather them. Just gather them up, add some glue, nice generous amount. We're going to bring back our flower, so she's so beautiful. So I'm going to look at these two side petals, look at this petal, and bring that petal in between those. So just scoot it down in the center. And then we're just going to press down again. Hey everyone! Happy Tuesday, June 10th. I said the wrong date in the beginning. Oh yeah, I was looking at my other sheet from the other night. Oh my goodness. Oh, she's so beautiful. All right, so we know I love pink and orange together. That is my logo colors. But yeah, super pretty in this color. Now, we still have one large petal left at our 5.5 inches. So what we can do is flip it over so the petals are rolled up. Roll around where the petals meet the base. Flip it back over so now they're showing under. Add some glue to the center. You're going to flip your flower over, and just like how we assemble when we're assembling them correctly, you're just going to bring it down in between the petals of layer 1 and press. So that petal went in between these two. So when you flip it back, it has much more depth when we add it after the flowers assembled. So because we're stemming it, I want to have a nice shape. Ooh, this one really got nice. She's a knockout. Thanks, Linda. Now we're going to assemble her, and then I'll show you the planners that I made over the weekend. So this is the thicker wire. Again, if you don't have thicker wire, you can bend it like I'm going to one of them, but then you're going to gather a few of them together and wrap it with floral tape once you have everything assembled, okay? Because that will give you some stability to hold up your 6-inch flower. Hope that made sense. So we're going to take this wider stem wire I get from Leah Griffith online. There is a pointed end. We're going to place that in between our needle nose pliers. Now this one's a lot harder to bend, so it may slip off for me. Bend it around like a shepherd's hook. Ooh. Ooh, that's tough. Place it back in there. When everybody's watching, then I can't do it. Squeeze it tight. Ooh, straighten it out. Stretch, friends. Place it back in there so you can see the loop. Bend it 90 degrees like a corner. Woo! We're going to bring in our sepals. So we're going to take the larger one. You're going to thread it on with the petals facing under. So you can see, because we made the X, it was easy to thread it onto the sepal or on the floral stem wire. On the underside of the wire, you add your glue. So just add a generous amount. Pull it through and watch your fingers to make sure it attaches. So we're gonna let it sit there a moment. I hope you're having a great day, and I so appreciate you all hanging out with me tonight. And I'm not sure if she's still here, but V, our friend from Forever Petals by V, was visiting and hanging out with us, and we love that. So thank you so much, V. We miss you and love you. All right, she's beautiful. Look at that. Now we're going to, okay, I'm going to zoom out a little so you get to see more of my messy workspace. All right, so we're going to add glue to the top, on top of my wire, and I'm going to go just a tiny bit out each petal. So I am going to flip my flower stand up. Now watch, because there is the opening. So be careful with your fingers. Add it on top of the wire. And just a little bit out each petal so it grabs onto our larger flower. Flip your flower over, place the petal right in between the previous layer's petals and press it down. So your sepal petals went in between the petals of your the last layer we just added. So I'm just going to press to make sure it attaches. And we don't want to move it too much. And that's what I generally do, so we don't want to do that. Yay! Bee's still here. Thank you! Ooh, she's so pretty. Once we know that's secure, ooh, you can stop there with one. Perfectly okay. But we're going to attach the second one. So thread it from the top. Now you're going to stay as close as possible to the floral stem. Hold your glue gun and twirl. Nathan, that makes me think of you. I hope you don't take offense to that. Alright, bring your petals straight down in between the previous sepals petals. And make sure you press in the center. And there you have a 6-inch template 7 mini flower. So beautiful! Nathan, twirl. She's so pretty. I need to zoom out again. Sorry. I can't read the comments. Oh, okay. So beautiful. All right, so let's talk about the planners that we made. Sometimes they're called a different name, and I don't want to say it. I think it's funny, and I don't take offense to it. But 1 second, let me grab my girls. Okay. They are not easy to do. So if you saw my stories over the weekend, clay pots will dry faster. These are from Dollar Tree. My friend picked them up. Now you can see here in the bottom, the paint's chipped a little. We didn't seal them with anything. We used a wood bead. So I wasn't sure on the size pots that she got, so I just grabbed. We used all the larger ones I had. I used... I get it from Amazon. It's like your E6000, but it's a much more fine tip. B7000. I added some of that to the wood bead, and then I put hot glue around it. What we did then, I glued that first, and then we painted 3 coats. I used we mixed together our plaster and our Paint Cloud Waverly chalk paint to get the color skin that we wanted to. And again, it took 3 coats. Once we glued our noses on, we did run to Walmart because I needed more of the plaster paint. I used... after everything dried, then it was time to draw and create. We used paint pens and pencils. I used pan pastels for her rosy cheeks, and then paint pen for her freckles. The glasses are from Dollar Tree. Now for this one, and they fit perfectly on there, I'm not even gluing them. We used fake lashes from Dollar Tree. And they stuck, so we didn't have to add any extra glue. And she had a lot of fabric because she used to sew. and then we just glued them on. Sometimes we made a knot. So we just looked up some different ideas online. They're super duper fun, but honestly, it is much harder than you think. I thought, oh, it's going to be easy. I can draw. Girl, I struggled with those faces. But we were having some adult beverages and just had a good day of it. And I call her my drag queen, and no offense to that. I have a glue. So we did use some dimensional paint, and it took forever to dry, and I don't even know if it's completely dry. But we added a lot more lashes on this one. We did take the lenses out so we could see her fun eyes. And she also has pan pastel blush. So I highly recommend it. It's a fun thing. My friend added a real plant. She had 2 more planters, so she had bought 6 total. So she just set the other one inside with a real plant, and then she did bring, I think, Trixie, hers, to work, and I'm going to add some paper flowers. So my idea was to use these large flowers in my girl. I have not named them yet. The names haven't come to me, but have some fun with these. I'm not sure if you saw them. I know they're in a lot of the Dollar Tree groups. All different personalities, and I'm going to add some Spanish moss so it'll be hanging down. A lot of times they had curlers on them, so they are super duper fun. And have some fun with it, and don't think too hard. Like, this was my first one and I struggled. I did my face and everything within 5 minutes up for the second one. I just had fun. And so we did use paint pens. The only time I used dimensional paint was on her lips, and that took forever to dry, and I had to drive home about 20 minutes. So, but it's super fun. We did paint all around, and then just we hot glued the fabric on, and then I did go down further in the center. Okay. So I hope I can inspire you to make one of the planters. And whatever kind of plant you want to put in them. Oops, I just dropped her. Whatever plant you want to put in there is fine. And then I'm going to use some of the larger flowers to, and she's definitely going to need some weight on the bottom so they don't fall over. But hopefully you try and take a stab at making them. They're super duper fun, but we made template 7 tonight. So hopefully you enjoyed our beautiful flower, and she'll fit perfectly because it's larger, and we can add some smaller ones to it. So again, template 7 mini flower to create a 6-inch stemmed flower for our planters. So again, thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your week. So be safe, be healthy, have some fun, and be creative, friends. And we will be back, I think, on Friday. And then next week we are Monday and Tuesday, and then I am taking some time off for myself. So thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and we will talk Friday. Bye.